Lance, it's good to see you again. Welcome back to Popternative.
Good to see you.
I mean, another John Wick movie. I mean, it's interesting. I'm just curious because you've worked on so many amazing projects. We talked about it. I have learned since the last time we talked that Monster Party is indeed a dark comedy, even though I think, even though I think it's a horror movie, one of my favorite movies. Is there a palpable energy in the air when you are making a John Wick movie that's kind of different than other kind of movies that you've kind of worked on?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, first of all, the experience on each one is so different for me that it's hard to kind of make a generalization, even just about the experience of working on them in the franchise. You might, for Ian, and particularly for Keanu, you might get a more uniform kind of response. But each one feels special, like even the first one. Even though I really didn't think it was going to do what it did, the script was incredible. And when we were shooting it, it's funny because I shot all my stuff in one day on the first film. So I basically came in. I get the offer on a Wednesday, and I flew in on Sunday and shot all my stuff on Monday, back to back. But it was just whenever you work on something that just is just so. There are just so many elements that are just quality artistically. And then when I saw it, I was shocked. I mean, I just couldn't believe how good it was.
It's amazing. When you get that call that you're back for a John Wick movie, like I'm talking about that like week, right? What is going through your mind? Like before, maybe not much because, you know, you haven't been on set or anything, but I'm just curious, like the fresh kind of thoughts that like you're coming back.
Once again, everyone is different because kind of what I was doing in each one was different. I mean, because I remember the second one, my first thought was, well, it doesn't seem like I have anything to do in this. I don't think I want to do it. My agent was like, you don't get it. You have to. And then the third one, it's funny. It's so funny because I remember my first day on the second movie, which is ironic. Incidentally, it's the first time I ever met Ian McShane. And Chaz Stahelski, our director, he says to me, "Hey man, how you doing?" I said, "I'm okay. I wish I had more to do." He said, "Just wait. The third one, you'll have great stuff to do." I'm like, "The third one, man? We haven't made the second one yet. What are you talking about?" So then when the third one came around, like 3 years later, I didn't even get a script. I got a call saying, "You need to go for gun training." I'm like, "What?"
It's crazy. And you know, with chapter 4, I find it interesting. I feel like if you talk to, you know, the creatives involved with a franchise, there's very like mutual goals with like a extension of a franchise, right? You want to extend the storylines and you want to make it bigger and better. I think that's kind of the point in everything. It was achieved with this film, with chapter 4, absolutely. And I had so much fun with it. And I wanted to know, in terms of like picking up right where we left off, because every time different movies kind of have different kind of segues and starts with spoilers, what would you kind of say in terms of the whole storyline for chapter 4 that we could be in store for when people get to go see it in theaters, that's maybe a bit different than other films without big kind of spoilers? It's a John Wick film. Let's not be like it.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing about it is, it's you never believe. I mean, I never believe that it actually will be bigger than the last one, because and then it is. And this one, I mean, this one was so big that I was like, I walked out with sensory overload. It was almost shell shocked, and now I lost the track of the question.
No, absolutely. Sometimes you don't think, it's kind of like, how could they top this? But they do, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah. And then, but but you asked me kind of in terms of plot, what can fans expect?
Yeah.
The only thing I can say without giving a spoiler, and it's kind of a spoiler, is that for the first time, you start to see it in John Wick 3. But first time for Winston. Winston has a journey in the fourth one, and for the first time for him, it's not business; it's personal.
It's personal, absolutely. Yep, and that's good. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think people that follow the movies, because the John Wick fans, they're on point and they know a lot. And there was chatter about what's Winston going to be up to in the fourth movie. Like there's a lot of that as well. Here's the thing. The pandemic was very difficult in terms of the fact that we were not able to go to movie theaters for a long period of time.
Yeah.
This franchise can arguably be considered the poster child of movie theater movies.
Yes,
because it has everything you want to go to a movie. So this is a general kind of question, but what's it like being part of a movie theater movie franchise, Lance?
Wow. I mean, it's funny because I actually go to the movie theater so infrequently.
Yeah.
I mean, quite frankly, I don't even know, aside from this, I don't even know the last time I saw a movie in the theater.
Yeah.
So once again, that's a hard question to answer because I never think about it in terms of I'm in a movie theater franchise.
Yeah.
And each one is kind of when I'm in it or what I'm doing press for. It's kind of I'm just kind of in the moment of what I'm doing. Because quite frankly, outside of John Wick, I'm so busy with the rest of my career that I'm not thinking about it.
Absolutely. And
but I will
ask
say this,
a lot of mindset questions, but yeah, absolutely.
But I will say this, having said all that, it is it's surreal that it has turned into this.
Yep.
After given what my experience of the first movie was, my expectations were so low that it's turned into this is just it's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling.
Well, I mean, no, because it's like, a Family Feud, right? The whole we asked 100 people the question, right? What do you want to see in a movie theater movie, right? And like top answers on the board, John Wick has all of them. You know what I mean? If you think about it, it has all of them. You know what I mean? It's got, and I think this is a credit also to Keanu. Like there are some very like dramatic, like this kind of shook me to my core moments. You know what I mean? That have nothing to do with the action and the big expanse in the movie. Okay, and the soundtracks. I mean, it checks all the boxes, is what I'm saying.
The soundtrack to these movies is so brilliant that I don't even know. First of all, half the time I'm like, how are they affording this music? but it's just it's really genius. It really is.
What is your favorite thing about being able to? I asked you this when we talked at Resident Evil, but I'm gonna maybe spin it a little bit so that Monster Party. No kidding. But it's all these different worlds and they're all these different characters. And, you're a hotel manager, and then in something else, you're like the complete opposite of it. You're like a scientist and it's like completely different. But like, would you say being able to play different characters is your favorite thing about being a storyteller? Or is it more about kind of...
Well, as an actor, especially as an actor trained in the theater and all of my heroes are transformational character actors, even the leading men and women.
Yeah.
Because my three probably I'd say like my favorite actors in terms of just who I aspire to be like.
Yep.
And this is going to sound as cliche as it gets, but it's true. It's Brando, Meryl Streep, and Daniel Day-Lewis. And especially Meryl and Daniel. They're transformational character actors who also just are always the star in the movies. Yeah. And Brando, at his best, was a transformational actor. I mean, one of the greatest that he did, Last Tango in Paris and The Godfather, a year apart, is just mind-blowing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about acting is, and you are one of my favorite actors for this, I will have to say this, okay? Saying things without saying anything, facial expressions, kind of reactions to things. You know what I mean? I think that's why I kind of like Monster Party so much, because there's some moments where you don't really say anything, but you're kind of reacting to all the murder happening. You know what I mean? And that says everything, right? I'm wondering if you think about that at all, you know what I mean? Like just kind of, because acting in a lot of ways is more than just kind of saying lines and showing up, right? It's expression and everything. Like kind of what you said about those three actors and everything. They're all very good at that, what I just said too, saying everything without saying anything at all. And I think you're incredible at that. Do you think about that at all or not really?
Well, yes and no. It's interesting because, having come from the theater and not having any on-camera training while I was in drama school. It really took me 3 years of trial and error to kind of start to figure out how to act on camera. I mean, I remember the first time I did a guest spot on a TV show, and after I got out of drama school, and I remember watching it being shot, thinking, Jesus, why am I doing all that stuff with my face? Yeah. So, remembering that you've always kind of got to be in it, and then what you're thinking and feeling reads. I mean, one of the things that it's happened a few times, not often, but occasionally on television. I'll have a director where they'll keep trying to get me to overact because they can't see what I'm doing. I mean, it reminds me of a great story that Chad Stahelski told me on the third John Wick. He said that when he and Keanu first started working together, Keanu said, I know you're always watching the monitor, but when you watch dailies, you got to watch it on a big screen, because if you watch it on a little screen, it's going to look like I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually doing a lot.
Yeah. No, that's very well said. And yeah, #movie John Wick Chapter 4. I can't wait for people to go see it in the theaters because it's bigger. There's so much kind of happening. Lance, once again, it was an honor and privilege to speak with you. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you.